Let's be honest, estate planning, it's one of those things we all know we should do, but it sounds so complicated, so we put it off. Well, today we're going to change that. We're going to break it all down into 5 super simple steps designed to protect the people you love most. Seriously, just take a second and think about that. If something happened and you couldn't speak for yourself, who actually has the legal power to step in and make decisions? This, right here, is the reason a good plan is so important. It's all about making sure your voice is heard and your family is protected when things get tough. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We're using a simple ABCs framework. We've got A for agent, B for boundaries, C for confidentiality, D for decisions, and E for emergency ready. It's a really clear roadmap that's going to give you some serious peace of mind. All right, first up, let's talk about A for agent. An agent is the person you officially name to make decisions for you if you can't. And this isn't just a casual thing. This is one of the most important choices in your entire plan. Now, here's something a lot of people miss. You actually need 2 different agents. First, you have your financial agent. This person handles your money. And without a legal power of attorney, banks won't talk to anyone, not even your spouse. Then you have your medical agent, who makes your healthcare decisions. They're 2 totally separate jobs, and they require 2 totally separate documents. So, how do you pick the right people? Well, it's got to be someone you trust, like 100%. Someone who can stay level-headed in a crisis, and most importantly, someone who will respect your wishes. And here's a huge pro tip. Try to avoid naming co-agents. It seems fair, right, to name 2 of your kids, but it can cause total gridlock when a decision needs to be made fast. Okay, so you've chosen who will speak for you. Now you need to tell them what to say. And that brings us to our next letter, B for boundaries. This is where you lay out your end-of-life wishes in a document called an advance directive. An advance directive, which you might also hear called a living will, is basically your voice when you don't have one. It clearly states what kind of medical treatments you would or would not want if you couldn't communicate your wishes yourself. And that quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. When you don't make these wishes clear, you're leaving your loved ones with an unimaginable burden, forcing them to guess what you would have wanted during an already heartbreaking time. This document prevents that. And it's so important to see this document for what it really is. It is not about giving up. It's actually an act of empowerment. It's you taking control and defining what a good quality of life looks like on your own terms. All right, let's move on to our third letter, C, for confidentiality. This involves a small but mighty document that so many people forget about, the HIPAA authorization. You can think of it like a key that lets your trusted people unlock your private medical info. I want you to just picture this for a second. The person you love most is in the hospital. You call, desperate for an update, and all you hear on the other end is, "I'm sorry, due to privacy laws, I can't give you any information." You are totally shut out. A simple HIPAA form prevents that nightmare scenario from ever happening. And look, this isn't just for married couples. These privacy laws are so strict that parents can be blocked from getting info about their own adult kids. Same goes for unmarried partners, siblings, even your closest friends. Without this piece of paper, to the medical system, you're a stranger. So far, everything we've talked about is for a situation where you're still alive but can't speak for yourself. Now let's move on to D, for decisions. These are the choices that come into play after you're gone, and it's all handled by your last will and testament. So what does a will really do? Well, it's got 3 main jobs. It says who gets your stuff, it names a guardian to raise your minor children, and it picks an executor to see it all through. And you really need to hear this. If you don't have a will, the state makes all of those decisions for you, based on a generic formula, not on what you actually would have wanted. This becomes absolutely critical for anyone whose family doesn't fit the traditional mold. The default state laws often don't protect unmarried partners or chosen family. A will is the tool that makes sure your voice is heard and the people you love are protected. And hey, if you have kids, this is not optional. A will is the only place you can legally name the person you want to raise your children if you're gone.
If you don't, a judge who has never met you or your family will make that choice for you. And finally, we've made it to E, emergency ready. Because let's face it, having all these perfectly drafted documents means nothing if nobody can find them when they actually need them. This is all about making your plan work in the real world. So, when you put it all together, we've talked about 5 core documents that every single adult really ought to have. And here they are, the core 5, all in one place. You've got your financial power of attorney, medical power of attorney, HIPAA form, advance directive, and your will. Every single one has a very specific, very important job to do. So where do you keep them? A fire-safe box at home, a secure online portal, those are great spots. But here's what not to do, and this is a really common mistake. Don't put them in a bank safe deposit box. It sounds safe, but those can be sealed when someone passes away, making them completely inaccessible right when your family needs them most.
Because here's what it all comes down to. Creating these documents is just step 1. Step 2, which is just as important, is communication. The people you've chosen to be your agents have to know you've picked them, and they absolutely have to know where to find everything if a crisis hits. So let's end on this thought. This kind of planning, it really isn't about the end of life. It's an act of love. It's about organizing your world to protect the people who mean the most to you. So the real question isn't if you should have a plan, it's who are you protecting with yours?